Hey Ottawa, this is your monthly end snapshot for the August stats for the Ottawa Real Estate Board. Also combining the month end stats and charts that I typically include in my weekly updates. This data is for August and today is September 9th. My name is Annalee Rice. I'm a realtor here in Ottawa at Royal LePage Performance Realty. Let's get going. Okay, so these tables are the Ottawa Real Estate Board stats. These encompass all stats from Ottawa Real Estate Board realtors. So these are not exactly the same data that I give week to week, but this is what gets released from the board. And what we see here is that we had 903 residential sales throughout the month of August, which is a 7.1 increase from what was sold in 2022. And the average sale price year to year, so August 2022 to August 2023, was up 0.5% to 709 and change thousand. If you look on the condo side, it was 293 sales, which was up 2.1% from August of 2022. And the average sale price was just shy of 426,000, which was up 0.9% from August 2022. Overall, the number of units sold is in the middle there, up 5.8%, and the average sale price for all properties, again, this is all properties for the Ottawa Real Estate Board, not just in the city limits, was 640,000. Okay, so this slide is the year-to-date stats, and it also is year-on-year comparisons to 2022. So far in 2023, we've got those top numbers show us how many sales year-to-date have happened in 2023, and then it's comparing it to how many had sold in the first 8 months of 2022. So we're down on the number of sales compared to 2022, of course, because 2022 started out with so many sales and also very high prices. So that's why you're seeing the average sale price in year to date for 2023 is down 8% for residential and 5.5% for condominium. Again, we're comparing a pretty slow year, steady but slow, compared to the peak prices. The vast majority of sales happened in the early part of 2022. So let's get into some of the charts that explain this, and hopefully it'll make a little more sense. Okay, so first off, these are the residential for the last 12 months. This is just to sort of see it in a bar graph instead of the just data points. This is all residential properties last 12 months, and the green is the sale price average. So we can see that the low point for the sale prices was in December of 2022, and then it climbed steadily through the spring, was quite steady throughout April through July, with a little bit of a peak in July, and then in August we did see a decrease in price, but it is above what we saw in August of 2022. Sales volume, that's the blue lines, was very low throughout the latter half of 2022. We did have a spring peak, but if we look later on in some other charts, we'll see how the overall number of sales is down from a typical year, and we can see that it's dropped off throughout the summer. When we look at the same data for the condos, we see a lot more volatility. The prices have been sort of up, sort of down. They had a lower sales prices in the winter, and then a little bit higher throughout the spring and summer. And sales volume also is a little bit more inconsistent. Okay, so first off, I kept this chart in there for my weekly updates. I just wanted to sort of show where the inventory levels have been throughout the year. This shows for all of 2023, and the green are the number of active listings. So you can see that throughout the spring, we had the sort of a steadying off of the inventory while the sales, that's the red line, were climbing. And then once the sales started to drop off in midsummer, June, July kind of timeframe, the inventory did start to climb. And so it's been climbing up quite significantly. And then this last week, we saw quite a drop. And that was because of the typical long weekend. There's a big drop. And we also had seen decreases in sales. So I share this slide every single week, and you can see, and I expect next week we'll have a jump up in inventory again. Okay, so these are charts, tables that I share in my sort of month end. And so this, I've broken it down not only just into residential and condominium, but broken out detached, semi-detached, and freehold, so townhomes, for the freehold market. That's the first three lines. And month on month, we see, and all of these data from now on are all inside the City of Ottawa boundaries limits. So this is not exactly the same data as we're seeing on the Ottawa Real Estate Board stats. But we see that for the detached homes, the average sale price was down a little over 3%, and then 1% down for townhomes month to month. So that sort of correlates with what we were seeing in the graphs on the last slide. So for condos, just down 1.1, 1.2 month to month from July to August of 2023. And I did update these from what I had shared last week. There was only one slight change. And then this is graph form. This shows us from 2018 all the way through to the current month. And we can see the peaks and valleys and those 5 different property types. We've got detached, semi-detached, that's the blue line, that's a lot more volatile. And we can see the row home, townhome, those 3 are all freehold. And then you've got the purple and green are the condominium class properties, which generally follow the same trends and are cheaper than the average freehold home. So this chart here is the sales volume. So the number of sales over the last 10 years. As you can see, the black line, that's the 2023 line, we can see that the number of sales in August of 2023 is the lowest that we've had through the last 10 years. So since before 2013. We are below 2013. In fact, we're below what we saw in 2022. Now, again, that kind of contradicts what we saw in the real estate board stats. They had it being higher than what was in 2022, but these data points are for just inside the City of Ottawa boundaries. So my guess would be that there were more sales outside of the city boundaries, rural properties and such, sold by Ottawa Real Estate Board members. So that would have just bumped it up just a little bit. And these are the tables that I usually share in my weekly or sort of near end month. We can see that the average days to sell, these are the data points for the ones that are selling. So detached homes are taking on average 30 days, and that has increased over the last few months. 22 days for townhomes, which is quite reasonable and less pressure than when it was down near 10, 15 days. And condos are sitting pretty steady at about 27 days. This next slide is the months of inventory, which, as a reminder, is the number of months it would take to sell all current inventory, so active properties, if the sales continued at the same rate of sales for that we're seeing in that month. So because sales have slowed down over the last 3 months, we see that the inventory has climbed. We're seeing that those months of inventory, especially in the detached market, have increased. So more properties on the market, fewer sales, higher months of inventory. We're currently sitting at 3.6 months of inventory for detached homes and 1.9 for townhomes, which is still quite quick. And condos are sitting steady at about 2.2 months of inventory. This last one here shows us the close price to original list price ratio, gives us a bit of an idea of whether or not homes are being listed at a reasonable expected sale price, and then how much of, I'm going to call it a discount off of the sale price or the list price that sales are happening. So on average, sales are happening at between about 97.5% to 98% of the original list price. And of course, there's homes that sell over asking. There are homes that sell drastically below, but these are the averages for the different home types. Okay, so that's it for today. We've shared the Ottawa Real Estate Board stats for the month of August, as well as a little bit of an update on the monthly stats and charts and tables that I share. to give you an idea of what's happening in Ottawa. So what's going to happen as we move into this fall market? Well, interest rates are still very high, although the Bank of Canada did hold the overnight lending rate at 5%. So with that, there may be a little bit more confidence for buyers to budget and plan for their finances. We may see a little bit of an increase in the sales coming into the fall. I expect inventory is going to continue to climb a little bit before, of course, it drops off in the winter months when people just don't want to have their homes for sale. Will we see a bit of a rebound in the prices with that? It's possible. They're sort of 50-50 on whether or not people think the prices may go up a little bit. They do tend to go up historically in a fall market. You might have more sales, which brings prices up a little bit. But I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of drastic movement one way or the other. If the government continues to keep the interest rate steady, the confidence will build, and maybe we'll have a steady and solid fall market. If you ever have any questions, please reach out. Give me a comment on YouTube. Let me know what you'd like to see, and I hope you have a fantastic September.